You know what? I just was talking about this yesterday. I didn't turn the fuel on. Every time I try to do something in a great orchestrated fashion, I forget the simple stuff. But now it should go. Now that my arms are wore out and Well, guys, let me make sure the mic is on. Yep, mic's on. That's gonna do it. That was a quick video, but the D has officially moved out of the garage and into the barn, and now what's coming in here next, a lot of people are asking, is the 1936A that we went to Iowa to pick up for Tony. We got one of the tires swapped out last night. Also had to straighten out this rim. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. It was caved in that area. Didn't really use a lot of technology. We just had a high lift jack against the axle, and then the foot of the jack was here, or the thumb of the jack, I guess you would call it. And then we wrapped a chain around the spokes to keep the jack from slipping off. So we just slowly worked it over, and we had to try it in a few different spots. We heated it, cooled it, heated it, cooled it. So ended up getting it about as good as I think that we're gonna get it. So not bad for a rinky-dink operation, but we made it work. I also took an SOS pad and some water and just did a light scrub on the hood, and I'll be dipped if we can't see John D, and then it kind of fades away, but there's an R right here. And then you can see the old General, and right here would have been the P for purpose. So that's pretty cool. I don't think the other side has quite as much detail, but it's still there. You can still see the E here. You can still see some faint letter or some faint yellow here, E. So it's there, but Tony's got the block and head. That's all done from the machine shop. We pulled this wheel off last night so that we could get the tire shop to take the old tire off of it. That thing had been on there for years and years and years. So that's what's going on with Tony's A. Mark's A, this is a 38 with Balin road gear. We're in the process of swapping out both rear wheels. We have some new rear wheels in the barn that we picked up at LeSueur. They're flat spokes. This one has a round spoke on this side and a flat spoke on the other side, so they're two different wheels. And this one had some damage to the rim here, some rust damage, and we found when we were taking it apart, this portion of the hub had cracked. This portion was not broken, but it's a good thing that he didn't go to a plow day or something, because there's no telling when this thing was going to let loose. But you can tell that it's an old crack because of how much rust penetration you have inside this crack versus this being new and exposed. So you had a lot of moisture seeping in here over the years, so that's not good. It's a good thing we're changing this out. So some other minor things we're going to do on this in the future. We're going to do a quick front to back fluid flush, with the exception of the radiator. We probably won't touch that. So we'll do engine oil, gear oil, and power lift. And then what else do we have to do? There's two broken bolts in this radiator casting for the exhaust pipes, so we're going to have to probably drill those out. But other than that, it's pretty well set to go. We have some front wheels that we're going to change out. We got some round spokes for the front, so I have to send those off to sandblast and powder coat. When we get those back, we'll swap the tires over and then put the front wheels on. So just some things to do, but this rear wheel really put up a fight. I had to cut the hub into 3 sections to get it off, and the clamp was seized to the hub, so I had to cut the clamp in 3 sections as well. So this one, the clamp came right off, not a big deal. But I am a little nervous as to how well this wheel is going to come off. So we'll see. We'll give it a shot once we get the other wheel on. I never liked these splined axles on these John Deeres. I guess my best advice to anybody that's working on these splined axles is clean these to almost a mirror finish. inside the grooves. You got to inspect these splines, make sure there's no burrs on them or anything like that. That'll hang up a wheel or a hub from sliding. Just be very meticulous with these axles. Clean these as good as you can, clean the hubs as good as you can. Use a hand file and get rid of any burrs that you have in the splines, because that will jam up your wheel in a hurry, and it can really really make things terrible. But other than that, this is a really nice tractor. So that's about it. I know I haven't done a video in a little while. It's just been really busy around here, and you know, it's the way it is. But I'm glad we got the D finally moved into the barn. Last night I was up till 1 in the morning pounding and banging on the on the fenders, trying to get them as straight as I could. They were in very bad shape. There's a lot of areas that were missing metal. So got them on as best we could. They're sturdy, but I wouldn't call it a factory. It's definitely not held in place by factory fasteners, because there was, you know, some areas where I had to make some modifications to for lack of metal, basically, or just rust flakes was all that was left. So, but that's cool. That's awesome. I'm glad the D is out of the garage. Once we get the other wheel and tire on Tony's A, I think that's going to go into the garage until we get the block and head and everything on it, and get things kind of sealed up, and get the carb and mag on it, and then see if we got some life. You know, we'll see. So it was loose when we got it, so promising stuff. Monday we have a road trip scheduled. Let's see, today's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Monday the 9th we have a road trip scheduled. We're headed to North Dakota, but I'm not going to tell you why. You're going to have to stay tuned for that. So we'll see you guys in the next one. That's all I've got, and thanks for coming along on the journey. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks for wrenching with me. We'll see you later.